In this video, I'm going to show you kind of the easiest way to make a box. And we're going to not just use butt joints, but we're going to use what are called rabbet and dado joints. And the reason you'd use those, they're a little bit stronger and they tend to help you align things as well. This would also work not only for a box, but it would also work for shelves as well, because they're built in a very similar way. And so the first thing I'm going to do is make a new sketch, and I'm just going to put it on this front, because from my shelves or my box, I'm just going to kind of look at it from the open area. I'm going to make it rectangular, and it doesn't really matter what the dimensions are, so I think I'm just going to make it about 2 feet or 24 inches by 24 inches. And that's the rough shape of it, but I'm actually going to be putting in, beyond that, some different parts and pieces as well. And so from there, what I might actually do is select that and make that a construction line, and that way it doesn't interfere with all of my extrusions that I'm going to do later on. Next, I'm going to make a rectangle, and this is going to define kind of my uprights, or the one side of the box, whichever way you want to kind of think of it. And I'm going to make mine out of material that's 3/4 of an inch. That should be pretty good for our purposes. Then from there, I'm going to make another one on the other side. So I've got an upright on the left, upright on the right, both 3/4 of an inch. And notice I haven't made any cuts into it or any shapes to cut into it, because I'm just going to do that kind of later on. And I'm noticing that I have one of my rectangles here decided to be not a construction line, or to be a construction line. So I'm going to toggle that off, and I'm going to make sure that's for all 4 lines all the way around. There we go. So we've got 2 solid rectangles. That's good. Next thing I can do is draw in my my top right here of these shelves. And usually for rabbet joints, you kind of go halfway in the material. So this one's going to be 0.375. And then it's actually going to be the same thickness, 0.75 of material. So I've got 3 sides so far. I can put another one on the bottom right here, and make sure it's all fully constrained. So I've got 0.75. There we go. The next thing that I usually do is I'm going to put in a few shelves or dividers, however you want to think about it. And so what we usually use for that is something called a linear pattern. So I'm going to select that tool, and I'm going to select the rectangle itself, and I'm going to try to select one. I want it to have the pattern to go up and down, so I'm going to first start with a vertical. Okay. And then I'm going to select those and see if I can't at least get that rectangle. All sides of the rectangle. There we go. Deselect those things I don't actually want. And let's see. Okay, I think I've gotten all of the sides. Yep, all of the sides of that rectangle. For my left and right, I actually want it to be 1 across. So got 1 across there. And then for my... Actually, I just made a mistake there. Alright. So again, rectangular pattern. Going to select. And I'm going to have 3 of them tall. So I'm going to make sure that is selected. And then I'm going to flip that arrow. And then for the width, I just want 1 of them. And I haven't selected all 4 sides of my rectangle, so I'll have to make sure that I do that. Okay, I'm going to even deselect that. So now I've just got the rectangle. Again, I just want one wide, and I'm not sure why it's not updating for me. And then we've got this dimension right here that actually defines how far away, how spaced these are. And for this, I actually have a little bit of a trick, because I'm going to take the full distance minus the thickness of one of either the top or the bottom, and then that distance right there I'm going to divide into 3, and that should give me 3 evenly spaced openings for my 3 shelves. So let's take a look and see what that does. That looks pretty good right there. Apparently I didn't select this left line, so that's selected, or this one right here. Alright, so that's looking pretty good actually. So from there I can hit the OK button, and notice that now I have those 3 evenly spaced shelves, and now I'm ready to extrude. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude the left upright, and we can just make the distance maybe 12 inches and making a new one right there. Now the sketch kind of hides, but that's okay. I can show it again, and I can extrude. I can extrude that other side right there, and this one can also be 24 inches, or I can set it to up to face, and I can actually select this face over here, and it's going to match. And so if I decide to change the size of this, it will change that as well. So it's going to be a new part. That's good, and there we go. Keep going around, and I can actually select and make sure I select this part here and this part here, and making sure it's new. That's all good. And then again, I can go up to face and keep selecting that first one, and it's going to allow me to have that. Now I've actually got more parts in this part studio than I need, because the top and all these shelves are actually the exact same piece. And so if I wanted to, I could actually get away with just extruding these 2 parts, and then whenever I'm going into my assembly, which I'll show in the next video, you can actually reuse those parts. And so that's kind of the quick and easy way to define those rabbet and dado joints, and how to begin the process of making a box.